Hi guys. I'm kind of doing something different today. I actually woke up a little bit late, so I'm kind of looking like I'm still wide-eyed, like very tired, but that's okay. I'm about ready to go to work. I haven't made what I need to make for work yet, so I will still need to do that, but I just needed to jump on here and let you know what God's kind of put on my heart a little bit. He put this on my heart a long time ago, and I honestly just didn't know if I really should have put it on YouTube or Facebook. I didn't know what he wanted me to do with it. Uh, but it's 7 things that guys find attractive. And again, this is not for worldly guys, okay? This is for real men, men that are of God, men that will love you, honor you, respect you. Like, these are men with drive, with purpose, ambition. Like, these are attractive men. So, they're going to be looking for attractive women who are also of God, and they're also going to want, certain qualities and features in these women as well. And, it's a two-way street. Like, they're looking for certain things, we're looking for certain things. So, if in case you're in that boat as a woman and you are desperately trying so hard to get your life together, and you really don't want to settle, but you really want the right man, or maybe you've just gotten out of a love relationship and you're just kind of like, I don't know if I could do it again because like I failed at the last one. These are some tips as far as to understanding what it is that men might be like interested in, so that you're not led astray, so that you don't also lose yourself again. And if you stick with these things, I actually have a course called Walk in Your Worth. And yeah, sorry about my hair, guys. It's all over. But I do an online course on Facebook. It's called Walk in Your Worth. I do a 7-day challenge, which my next one is probably either going to be the end of June or sometime in July. And it is called Confused to Confident. And it's over this stuff right here. It's teaching women not just how to love themselves, but also how to get to know God, and how to, serve God, and so that they can serve, full-heartedly as a woman of Christ, and also attract a very godly man in the process of their time being single, or while they are especially if they just came out of a relationship and they're kind of lost, as far like I used to be. I had no direction as far as like walking out of a 9-year relationship and not knowing, okay, how to date and like who to talk to, who not to. It was a big mess. But that was from 2015 up until about, I would say, a little bit of 2019. I started to get some of my stuff together, but I went through so many mistakes, and this is stuff that I've learned in my own personal journey. So if this helps me, then it can help you, because it's God-given. Like, God gave me this wisdom, he gave me this insight, this understanding. There are some YouTube channels and some I don't even know, just mainly some YouTube channels that God had exposed me to on my journey, so that it helped me. I'm going to try to keep this short as possible, but this is the background as to how I learned this stuff. But anyways, I'm going to get on with it. So there are 7 things that God kind of revealed to me that Christian men are looking for in a woman who's godly and very mature and very, like, he could consider her as a wife. And these are the things, so I'm just going to tell them to you. All right. So we're going to start backwards. Number 7 is being independent, but then being able to transition into interdependency. So what that means is a man appreciates and really values a woman who, values herself and can take care of herself. Like, she has her own job, she has her own place, her own vehicle, she pays her own bills in her name, but she isn't cocky with it, okay? Like, she doesn't have to sit here and flaunt around like, I pay this and I do this and I do that. It's like, that's pride. So a man may be ignoring you if you're very too prideful, because what that tells him is that you are independent, yes, but you can't do the second part, which is you can't, if he were to get involved with you, then basically it's going to be an ongoing battle of who's paying for this, and him trying to do his job as a man and take care of you. He can't take care of you financially or any other way if you're always trying to be independent and you try to do everything yourself. If that's the point, then there's really no need for you to be in a relationship now, is there? Exactly. So you're kind of stepping toes in his role. Like, if you can't, it's good to be independent, but if you can't transition into interdependency, and what that means is he's independent, you're independent, and both of you being independent can lean and rely on each other, and you're also supposed to lean and rely on God. So technically, even if you believe in God while you're single and stuff, you still need to rely on God when you get into that relationship. You're interdependent on God when you're single before that man comes into your life, and that needs to contribute and still stick with you even as you enter into a relationship. Like, you're still going to be relying and being, interdependent on someone else. And again, it's kind of like, think about like with Christ. Like, if we could do everything ourselves, we wouldn't even need Christ, now would we? No. And that's the whole point. We need Christ because he can do for us what we can't. And also because who else is going to be able to forgive us and love us unconditionally? People can't. They can love you like at their most, to their best ability, but they can't love you past the moments when you make a huge fault or you make a huge mistake, or maybe you've done something that annoys them so much and you just can't stop. And it's like, God is the only one that can love you past that. So the whole point of being independent, it's good while you're single, but when you start realizing that there's someone that God may want you to date that could turn into a relationship that could lead into a godly marriage, you're gonna have to learn to cross over from being independent into interdependent. Like, you're gonna have to be a little vulnerable. You're gonna have to learn to allow a man to pay for you, not just your dinner, but pay for you when you are struggling a little bit. And not even just paying, it's also, if you need a pick-me-up and a man wants to give you an encouraging word, like, you can't just go to everybody else. Like, you should be able to go to him too. And there's all kinds of other examples, but that's the main point, is that if you're too independent and you don't have enough room to be able to transition into interdependency, a man can spot that really well. Like, he can tell if you're going to be someone that's going to clash with him, or if you're going to be someone that he can embrace and that can grow with him. And if you're only being independent just because it's a statement and you're still butthurt about the last relationship you were in, then you're not healed and you do not need to be in a relationship. I'm sorry, but you still got some growing to do and healing. And again, another reason why you need God. A lot of you may not like that, but at this point, I can care less about how you think or what you feel. This is what God gave me, and this is my own personal journey, and I know what's true on this and what's not. So I'm just telling you, there's a lot of people out there who are still single because they still haven't completely healed. And that's all there is to it on that. And that leads into number 6, which is maturity. A Christian man is looking for a woman who is emotionally intelligent, which means, he may make his mistakes where if he does something that unintentionally, makes you angry, like he wasn't trying to make you angry, but it did, how are you going to handle that? Are you going to lash out at him, throw things at him, get up in his face? Or are you going to, be able to be mature enough to let it go? Like, just literally let it go and just be like, look, I know that you didn't mean to do that. I forgive you, but, do your best not to do that again. Like, that's all you got to say. Can you show grace? But then the other side of emotional maturity, or being emotionally intelligent, is also the other part, which is, if he does do something intentionally, can you still forgive? Can you still speak to him in a way that's respectful? Can you still make sure that you are talking to him out of respect and not, just lashing out, cussing at him, getting really loud, bringing up the past? Like, no. Emotional intelligence, you're not letting your emotions get the best of you anymore. Like, when you feel angry, you know how to handle it. When you feel sad, when you feel betrayed, when you feel all these things, because again, a relationship is just a relationship. You're still going to you're still going to experience some pain, and sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not. But no matter whether it is or it isn't, the whole point is, what do you do about it? Are you going to act like all these other women that think they have the right to put a man down and emasculate him or make him feel, like some sort of way just because he hurt you? I mean, yes, you need to let him know that he hurt you, but it's the way that you do it. Just like you don't appreciate being, disrespected, you don't appreciate being cussed at or being hit or being talked to in a way that makes you feel belittled, neither does he. And men take disrespect way harder than what women do. There's a reason in the Bible when it says that, men are to love their wives and women are to respect their husbands. Men do need love, but not in the same way that women need it expressed to them. And men need to be expressed with respect from a woman compared to just showing love. And there's a whole book on 5 love languages. If you guys haven't read it, you should. It's a really good book. But it's kind of within those topics. Like, there's so much that you could really learn on that, and that's gonna be a whole nother video in itself. But for right now, I'm just doing the top 7 things that I've learned. And then also, like, with maturity for emotional intelligence, is not playing mind games. So this is where you let your yes be yes, your no be no. If you're angry, then yes, say that you're angry. Don't play like, oh, it's fine, and then 5 minutes to 5 hours or even 5 days later, you're over there saying like, oh, you did this, or don't you remember when you did that? It's like, no. If he did something that upset you, you address it right then and there. If you're in a public event or public place and you can't do it, then you tell him that, you know what, I'm really upset right now, but we can discuss this later. Like, let him know that it is going to be something that you need to talk about. It is something that hurts you, and yes, you need to address it. But again, you got to keep yourself composed. Okay, you can't be stepping out of character. I mean, given you may make mistakes as a woman, like, you're going to make mistakes too. But the point is, a man acts a certain way because he thinks it's right, or he thinks, because people don't correct him, or it's just the way that he's always been and no one's been, able to do that. So if you are the person for this guy, there's a good chance that you could speak to him in a way that's different than how other, people have attempted to speak to him in the past. So if you speak to him on a matter that is, in a way that he's handling a situation, or the way that he's talking to you and you don't like it, just keep in mind that, respect goes a very long way. It really does, especially even when, it's the heat of the moment and it's there's just a whole lot going on and you're just really not sure, like, how to approach it. Just always fall back on being as respectful as possible while also being as honest as possible too. And then also, that kind of leads into, step number 5, which is self-respect. And this is for the woman's part. And this is knowing when to walk away. And this is where, if a guy continuously disrespects you, or he, keeps calling you names, he keeps cussing at you, he keeps threatening to hit you, like, you don't stick around for that, sis. Like, bye. Like, you literally got to walk away. And that doesn't mean, this one's kind of hard, but it's easier said than done, but it really is something that needs to be done. And this is where, if a guy's talking to you and he's only wanting sex, or he's only talking to you and it's basically just him bringing up the past, or him making you feel worthless, like whatever it is that he's doing. Again, if it's something that doesn't fly well with you, if it doesn't settle with you, if it's something that is not true of you, like, you don't really have to sit there and take that. Like, you can literally tell this person, like, I know we don't see eye to eye, or you can say, like, I really thought you were a really great person, but you keep revealing this to me, and I'm not about that. So unless you're willing to change or willing to improve in this area, then you're not the person for me, and I'm sorry, like, but I'm not going to continue to be dating you if you're going to continue to act like that. Especially if, like, communication's important, or if, behavior is important, and they know it, and it's already been addressed a couple times, 1 to 2 times. I mean, it's okay if they get a couple warnings, but this is where you as a woman have to stand your ground. You have to have a backbone. You have to say what you say. Your yes needs to be yes, and your no needs to be no. If you told him that if you continue to keep talking to other women and he keeps doing it, and you told him already once that, hey, keep talking to them, I'm going to be one of the people you're not talking to. Like, that's plain as day. And if he does it out of spite, like he does it just to see if you're going to mean your word, then yeah, stick with it. Bye. I mean, really, like, if he's going to have all those options and still have you around, that clearly means he doesn't care about you. He doesn't respect you. He doesn't love you. He's not seeing a future with you. You don't waste your time. Okay? Just don't waste your time. So, yeah. It's not that you're giving him an ultimatum. You're telling him how it is as far as what you're wanting, what you're needing, what you're expecting. If you're wanting a relationship with him and he knows this and he's aware of it, and you told him you're expecting him to stop adding other women, to his page, and to start, showing more interest in the relationship that you and this person are going to build, and yet he's still adding women on the side, he clearly doesn't quite either A, believe you that this is what you want, or B, he just thinks that you're just saying it and that you'll be okay with him adding other women if he just, kind of like makes you feel bad for bringing it up if you guys were to get into it about it. And again, when you get into it, you still got to be respectful, but this is where you got to have enough self-respect for yourself. If you address to him that it's an issue that he keeps adding multiple women to his media, and it's literally not 1 or 2, but it's the fact that it's a whole bunch of women, or even if it is 1 or 2 and that still bugs you. The point is that if he's serious about you and he wants to be with you, well, how does adding a whole bunch of other women make it known that he wants to be with you? What it really says is, hey, I want you, but I also want them too. And if you get mad at me about that, then I'm going to get angry with you and make you question yourself. And you're just going to have to be stuck either doing what I want to do, which is that, or basically he's saying you can leave, or you can just put up with it because I don't want to change. That's pride. No, that's when you walk away. You don't need to sit there and be with someone who's clear as day trying to be with some other people in front of you. Okay? Especially after it's been addressed. Like, no. 4 is doing things that you love and you're not doing it to impress others. You're just like, whether it be like working out or eating healthier or whatever hobby that you're into, even if there's a guy that you like or the guy that you are dating is into that as well, don't ever do anything just because another person really enjoys it, as far as like you're doing it because you're hoping they'll like you because you do it. If you like working out, go to the gym because that's something that you really enjoy doing and that you have your own personal goals that you're trying to do. If you're only going to the gym because the guy that you like goes to the gym, he's obviously over time going to figure out that you're not really for the gym, because 1, if you don't have a routine, 2, if you're not consistent, and 3, if you really complain most of the time about it instead of actually like really trying to push yourself, you're gonna basically bust your own self. and he's going to know it. And it's not even that. It's literally anything. When it comes to, like hobbies or activities, anything that you enjoy. Like, if you guys end up being in a relationship and it's because it's something that you both really like or enjoy, then that's good. That's something you two can enjoy together. But again, the things that you do in your life need to be because you yourself enjoy it. You yourself want to do it. Doing something because a man enjoys doing it, and that being the only reason that you're doing it, that's not exactly something that is good. I will say that if you get into a relationship with someone and you guys have been dating for a little while and maybe this person likes golf and you really don't, it's different if you go on a golf outing with this person just because that is something he enjoys and you're trying to enjoy time with him. But again, like, if he asks you to go, or maybe if you suggest to him, like, hey, let's go do this, even though it's not really my thing, that is a form of love. That is showing that you are interested in doing the things that you don't necessarily like doing, but you're doing it because of that person. But what I'm trying to say is, because, like, that's good. The part that's not good is if you're trying to lure a person into liking you, or you're trying to attract someone into liking you by doing things that you don't like doing only because you want them to like you. If you're doing it that way, you're telling a lie, and lies are going to be exposed. And the way they're exposed is not always by your choice, unless you yourself choose with your own mouth to tell this person, hey, I was just trying that out, or hey, I'm not really good at it, or I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with it, but this is something that I was doing. Again, because just like with the workout thing, if you try to lie about it and you try to keep up with it and it's really not your thing, you're really not into it, it's going to show. And then how do you think that person's going to feel when they realize that they liked you for that reason, only to find out that that really isn't you? Like, they're going to feel betrayed, they're going to feel lied to, they're going to be questioning everything else about you. It could even lead to the point where they'll break up with you, or they may just not respect you as much anymore because they're going to be like, wow, like, I can't believe you went all through that trouble just to get me to like you. And the more you find out that this person doesn't really like doing the same things as you or similar things as you, if you realize that at the end of the day that you guys don't have a whole lot in common and it's going to lead to end up clashing, then it's just awkward, because then it's like, okay, because I've been through that before too. Yeah, it's awkward. So just don't even go there. Just stick to doing what you really like to do. It's good to try new things, but again, if it's not for you and someone wants to date you because they suspect that you... Hold on. Vienna, hush. That's my dog. Sorry. Sorry guys, she made me lose my train of thought. Anyways, number 3 is, and I say this a lot, respectful and willing to listen, not just talk. So this is the third thing that Christian guys find really attractive, is basically being able to have a conversation and not just one person talking. It's not really fun to kind of listen to just one person talk all the time, and even though I talk a lot, I can tell you that just the look on people's faces when I talk too much, I can tell you, seems pretty brutal. But I've gotten way better about this, and also, like, being respectful and willing to listen kind of goes back to the whole, like, in an argument situation, if y'all are disagreeing on something, can you be respectful of what this person has to say and be willing to listen full-heartedly to what they have to say, and not just think about what you want to say and try to cut them off, or try to, fill in the gaps or finish their sentences. Like, actually give them the room and the space to say what's on their heart or in their mind, and to say what they need to say. I mean, let's just be honest, if you end up talking the whole time, like, you could actually end up causing them to lose interest, or they may look at it like you're giving them a lecture instead of just, like, hearing you out. And if you do have a need to talk so much, then just do what I do, which is start a YouTube channel or start a podcast or do something, because that probably means you have a gift of speaking and that need is actually not being met. And that is, he might even suggest that to you. And again, if he does, he's not being rude. He's just trying to help you because he's trying to tell you in a polite way, I can't fulfill that need. Like, if you need to talk a whole lot, and this took me a long time to realize, is that, like, even the man that God has for you, he's perfect for you, but he's not perfect. So if y'all are talking and you want to continue talking and he's kind of done with it, and let's say you guys have talked for about an hour, maybe 2 tops, on this subject, and it's just something that you really, really love, okay? So that means you probably need to start a group page or something about it. If it's something about babies, or it's something about, Christian stuff, or if it's something about, I don't even know what y'all could be talking about. Just anything, whatever it is you're interested in. Like, literally do something about that if you are like me and you really like to talk, because that way you kind of get that void met, and you can, serve your purpose for God, and you're pleasing him, and you're pleasing the person that you're with, because you're not up his butt the whole time trying to be like, give me attention because I want to talk, or I want to, do this or do that. And then also, again, back with the whole respectful and willing to listen with an argument, is because you like to talk a lot, men also want to be heard as well. They have voices, they have opinions, they have ideas. And a form of respect and submissiveness as a woman to her husband, and this is something men pay attention to, is, will she provide me that space to talk? Will she provide me that space to give direction, to give some insight, to and for her to actually listen to me respectfully and not roll her eyes or cut me off, or, like, make me feel disrespected just because I'm sharing my opinion. And believe it or not, women are very horrible at this. Like, there's probably some that don't, and a lot of the older ones might be better at this. But for us younger women, like, this stuff right here, if you don't learn it at some point, then you're only hurting yourself. This could be another reason why you could be single, or it could be why the person you're in a relationship, you and that person struggle a little bit. It's not that he doesn't want to hear you talk, it's just he also wants to talk too. Especially if you both really like talking, then you both have to learn how to, like, kind of come together and just kind of, figure out a system of how you guys can get out what you want to say and do it respectfully and politely when it comes to arguments. Number 2, this is a big one. Okay, so number 2 is purity. I did struggle with this one in my past. After I broke up with the person I was with for 9 years, I felt like, because I already blew that it's not like it didn't matter. It was just, I felt like if that's something you're going to be doing in a relationship, then it didn't matter when you started doing that, just as long as you, like, prove to that person that you're for them in that way. And that's the exact opposite. So, like, God doesn't want you using your body for sex. He doesn't, if it's not with your spouse. If you have made that mistake, ask for his forgiveness. God can forgive me. He can forgive you. Don't beat yourself up too much about it, but now is a good time as any to start considering, being more pure, and just really not sleeping around, not throwing yourself at men, not trying to, I don't even know how to say it. Like, there's a spirit of lust that can actually be a thing. And that's why it also takes, God to break that, because it's a spirit. It's on you. It's in you. And It's what consumes your mind when you're constantly thinking about sex, or you're thinking about a person inappropriately, or you're thinking about, I don't even know, just like the whole jealousy spirit and stuff like that. Like, being pure, like, purity isn't just sexual. I mean, for the most part it is. It's, you know, saving yourself for the person that God has for you, no matter how many mistakes you've made in the past. Any woman is eligible for this, okay? All you have to do is ask God to be, you know, like, your savior, and ask him for forgiveness, ask him to come into your heart, your life. I will do a video on that, or you can comment below and I will reach out to you and we can, you know, kind of go through that. I have no problem doing that. And then start living your new life. I mean, you're still going to face temptations. You're still going to face trials. Excuse me. And the past is going to try, the devil's going to try to use the past against you to bring you down, to get you, and it's your mindset. Like, you got to change your mindset. You got to change how you see yourself. Dressing modestly. Like, you don't need to be wearing things that are like complete V-neck or, you know, droop cut. This isn't about telling you what you should or shouldn't wear, but it's about, if you have enough self-respect for yourself, a man can see that just based on how you dress. And a lot of women don't like to hear that. They want to be like, well, I want to wear whatever I want and still get respected. Well, sweetheart, it don't work that way. Okay? I mean, if you were to go into a supermarket and you see a sign that says fish, but you can tell it's chicken or even hamburger, you're going to know that's false advertisement. You're going to say that's not right. That's not correct. Okay, so think of how a man looks at you when you're dressing very provocatively, very open, very transparent, and you're like, but I could make a good wife, or I wouldn't cheat on you, or I won't do this. It's like, okay, well, he's thinking, I'm confused because you're telling me with your body that you don't have self-respect for yourself. You're telling me that you don't love yourself. And hold on. Sorry guys, I had a phone call come through. This stuff's good, so the devil's trying to like attack me on this. If a man can see that you are not for yourself, then it doesn't matter what comes out of your mouth, okay? Because let's just be real. He's going to be sitting there thinking, what you're saying and how you dress do not match up. And a lot of women don't like to hear this, but it's true. It is so true. If you dress like you respect yourself, and that doesn't mean like you just have to wear t-shirts and jeans every day. It doesn't mean you have to look like a nun. It doesn't mean that you have to be overboard as far as like basically showing anything but just your eyes, okay? What it means is that you're not putting yourself in a position to cause men to think that you live that kind of lifestyle of going around being with whoever, whenever. You have a lot more dignity, a lot more respect. Men can believe you a lot more. They still might test you a little bit, but I mean, most men do that with any woman just because they want to make sure her yes means yes and her no means no. She is who she says she is. So purity also starts with what you think and what you watch on TV. Like, are you not watching pornography? Are you watching things that are more beneficial to you, that are educational, and not a lot of scenes that have sex or pornography, or things that have nudity, things that have scenes in it that are just really disturbing. You really should be careful about what you watch, and then also what you listen to. Are you listening to songs that are nonstop talking about sex? Are you listening to songs that are talking about, how badly women are getting mistreated by a man? Like, the things you watch, the things you listen to, the way that you carry yourself and what you wear speak volumes to a man as far as who and how you are. They can read you from a mile. Men are like hunters, okay? So they can kind of distinguish already what direction you're heading in your life. So it doesn't really matter what you say. It matters about what you do, how you act, and how you represent yourself. And that's the thing. You got to represent yourself. Are you representing yourself like for Christ, or are you representing yourself for the world? Because if you're representing yourself for the world, don't be shocked when men start treating you like that. When they start treating you like how other women get treated, which is like garbage or like dirt or like basically like they're nothing. And it's because you keep like, I don't know how to say it. You keep disqualifying yourself day in and day out every time you choose to wear something that you know is way too revealing. Every time you talk with a very filthy mouth. Every time, and that's the other thing with purity, is like speaking with speaking life into things and speaking in a way that isn't swearing or isn't belittling and isn't degrading. You know, like you are a woman that, you know, speaks very, very, you know, highly of others and yourself, but you're not doing it in a way that's cocky. Like you're very confident. You transition that into other women and other men. Like you speak highly over them. You're very positive. You're very outgoing. You're very like, you know who you are and what you're about, and you dress in a way that is not revealing. And it gives a man an opportunity to really get to know up here what's going on and in here, instead of what's underneath of everything that you're always exposing. And in a world today where we live in with so many women that are revealing themselves on the outside, it's very rare to find women that don't act like that. So that's what makes you shine and stand out even more, because now you're going against the grain. Now there's something different and unique about you, and now a man's really trying to figure you out, because he's like, why are you not acting like all these other women? Like, what's going on with you? Like, I want to know what's going on with you. So that's kind of like on number 2 with purity. And then that leads into number 1, which is self-love and a love for Christ. And that means, like what I just said, like you represent Christ, like you represent what he's about, which is peace and love and kindness, generous, grace, mercy. Like it's in the way you talk, it's in the way you walk, it's in the way you dress, it's everything. And it's his love is so unconditional, so different. And this is another thing. We live in a world where love's growing cold, and people are becoming more cruel and more intentional with their cruelness. And so if you can find a man or a woman, and mainly men are the ones that are who need to be finding the woman just needs to be walking in her worth, walking in her purpose, doing her thing, and then that man will find her. She doesn't need to be blowing up his Facebook or his, Twitter, his Instagram, Snapchat, none of that. She doesn't need to be giving him phone calls. She don't need to be doing anything to try to get this man to notice her, because like I said before on point 2, is that the way that you are, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you live your life is going to be so significantly different from what other women he's known or seen or been around, that he's going to have to do nothing other than to get to know you. Like he's just going to have to get to know you, because obviously if you don't sleep with him, and if you guys are basically taking things slower, and you're really, or even if you guys had slept together and maybe this person has changed and he comes back into your life and you guys are trying to start over and do it more right, do it more correct, the whole point is that you two, if you both have a love for God and you both, want to do life right, like you're going to know these people by their fruits. Like and what I mean is you're going to know, is this person following God, or are they following the world? Are they being kind? Are they being generous? How are they with their money? Like, are they foolish about it, or are they generous in a good way? Are they putting anything into savings? Are they trying to build into the kingdom of God, or are they actually trying to basically just get what money they can and then blow it and then blame everybody else and get all mad? And do they have like drinking issues? Do they have smoking issues? Do they have all these issues that they're trying to work on, or are they just trying to suppress them and blame everyone else? And again, it's not that these men that come into our lives, they're not going to be perfect, but if you tell them you don't like smoking, or if they know that you don't like smoking, then what are they going to do on their end to change that? Because, you can't force someone to stop. You can pray about it. You can encourage them to discontinue doing that. But you want to do it in a respectful, loving way. You don't want to do it in a way that is like standoffish and pushing them away. you do want to support them and be there for them, but just let them know that it's like, if you want to be with me, then you kind of know what the deal is. So that should be motivation enough for them to do their best to quit. Um, and also, like, the self-love is when you make mistakes, and this is why I said it's important that you show grace to this person, because you yourself make mistakes, you yourself are flawed, you yourself have fallen into temptations, you yourself are not perfect, so neither are they. So the way that you love yourself, the way you treat yourself, the way you talk to yourself, the way that you um go about, yourself is going to be very similar to how you treat another person. If you can't treat yourself with respect and with self-love and self-dignity and self-worth, if you can't treat yourself with your own kindness and your own encouragement and really pick yourself up, then you're going to do the same thing to that man. Like, and women, it's very important because women are influencers, and our whole point in a man's life is to build him up, not tear him down. And it's just something that, God really brought to my attention of how important my words are and how important the way that I really treat myself is. And then also, the final thing is, because, I'm a woman of Christ, or I'm a woman of God, that really needs to be reflected and show in all areas of my life, not just on church, in church on a Sunday, not just through some spiritual songs that I share or worship songs, not just through lyrics that I post on Facebook. Like, it has got to be online and offline. It has to be everything about me. And a man can tell whether you are really for him or not. Um, and this is why, like, because your standards are Christ standards, and they're not the world's, they're different. And most men can kind of pick up on that as well. So if you say you're going to be a Christian, if you say you're going to do your best to love Christ and to represent him, then you need to do that. And if you're struggling with it, then, it's okay to let that man know that, but not like day one or anything. I would just say over time, if he brings it up and he's like, well, you seem to like Christ, but you still seem to do this, this, and this, then let him know, like, oh, like, I just started believing in God a few weeks ago, a few months ago, or even a year ago, and I'm still learning it all. And let me tell you, it's a relationship with Christ. So just like any relationship, it's going to take time to learn about Christ. It's going to take time for you to learn how to have a relationship, like your own relationship with Christ. Just like it would take your own time to have a relationship with that man that's pursuing you. And I have so much other videos that I'm going to be doing. So, like, hopefully this, like, helps a lot of you women who are single. But these are the things that most Christian men or godly men, or even men who are, wanting to know God, but maybe they're not really there yet. But they would have no problem transitioning over into this kind of lifestyle. This is what they're kind of looking for when they're looking for a wife. They're looking for someone. And if you notice, yeah, you want to take care of your body and stuff, but they're paying attention to your character. They're paying attention to your heart. They're paying attention to, do you serve God or do you serve the world? How are you with your money, as far as, are you mature or are you immature? Same thing with your emotions. Are you mature or are you going to be playing mind games? Are you quick to forgive and to listen, or are you always going to be causing problems and bringing up the past and just making that person feel like they're living in a personal prison? Do you have self-respect for yourself and for the person that you're with, or are you just going to allow yourself to be treated like a doormat because you're so desperate to be with someone? Like, you don't ever want to be in that boat, sis. Ever. Ever. And then same thing with guys. Like, if you're a man and you're watching this, like, you have so much more self-worth and self-respect that you don't deserve to be with a woman who doesn't even know her worth and doesn't know how to treat you with respect, who doesn't know how to treat you like the king that you are, and to, talk to you in a way that is polite and respectful and kind, and be gracious to you when you do make a mistake. And the last thing, like I said, is independency. It's great if you're independent, but at some point, Start learning how to become interdependent with the person that, you're dating or in a relationship with or about to be married to, because it's super, super, super important. If you can't rely on that person, then I don't know if you guys should be together. If you're struggling, if it's just one person that's struggling to rely on the other, then you're not done healing. And that needs to be addressed ASAP. It needs to be done. Like, there's no way around that. You really got to start doing some healing there, because you can't have a relationship just by yourself. And if that's the point, then you might as well just be single, right? All right. So hopefully this helped y'all. Sorry that was way longer than I anticipated, but I just really wanted to make sure that you guys understood these top 7 things that men find attractive in women as they're looking for a wife. So I don't know if I'll edit it. Can't even talk anymore. I don't know if I can edit this or not, just because I do have to go to work soon. So y'all have an amazing Tuesday, because today's not Monday. It's actually the day after Memorial Day, so it's June 1st, and I actually got thrown off on my dates. So yeah, you guys have a good one and enjoy your evening. Bye.